Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing a Walking Dead video for The Walking Dead Season 8, as well as Fear the Walking Dead Season 4. In this one, we're going to give our thoughts on whether or not Lennie James kind of just confirmed that Morgen will not survive all-out war. In terms of which of the two I prefer, I personally would prefer you kill Morgen off, even though I love Morgen. I don't want to see Morgen get killed off in the series. I, put together a 1/6 scale custom action figure of Lennie James as Morgen. So you guys know I'm a huge fan of Morgen. He's part of what made Season 5 so great. He helped make Season 3 great. He made the first season great. And, even Season 6, 7, and even 8. So this year he's been awesome in it. But if you're going to do it this way, you pretty much have two possibilities. You either jump the Fear group way ahead, all the way through all the interesting stuff in the zombie apocalypse time to where the Walking Dead are at right now, and you sync the timelines to have Morgen cross from one to the other, say his goodbyes, decide that he doesn't fit in with the group anymore, he's going to go off on his own, he leaves, he runs into the Fear group later on. Which would cross into Season 4. But that time jump is just so huge, and it just has so many ramifications for Fear. I just feel like that would be such a drastic time jump. It would be nuts. I mean, you would be basically skipping through almost all of the Fear group's time in the zombie apocalypse up to current date with The Walking Dead. So I really feel like that idea is just like, it's so crazy, because also I want to see what happens to the Fear characters as they go through the zombie apocalypse. I don't want to see them just in the beginning in like year 1 and then skip years 2 and 3, and end up like where the Walking Dead timeline is at now, just so that they can have Morgen come in. It's just such a drastic time jump. It would just be nuts. So I personally think that probably the other way around makes more sense. I think that you probably kill Morgen off. You probably have him show up prior to clear, and that's probably what they're going to do. But, again, I could be wrong. I really thought going into this that Abraham would be the crossover character, because I thought that made a lot of sense. Then we find out it's Morgen, and I'm like, huh? How does that work? And then I'm like, oh, that could really work, couldn't it? So it's really strange. We'll go through a few of your guys' comments and hear what you guys thought, but leave a comment below, guys. Let me know what you think about this one. Which would you prefer? Do you think that Lennie James has just confirmed, his Morgen's death, or do you think that we actually may see the Fear group time jump the hell, like a huge time leap, and long jump, and then see Morgen, leave the original group and then leave and then run into the Fear group a couple years later. It just would be so nuts to see that I think you got to go the other way. You got to go to kill him off, do a prequel. But the way Scott Gimble's note came through kind of sounded like there's lots of story left for him, this kind of thing, and then Lennie James, kind of cancels that out with what he says, saying that he says goodbyes and stuff, so you get some the story's not matching, right? I'm not a detective, but I think I can figure this one out. Somebody's not telling the truth. I don't know who it is, but I think that unfortunately that's probably what we're going to see is probably Morgen's last season this season, and not because he's just leaving the group and going somewhere else just aimlessly. I think you're going to see the prequel angle. That to me makes the most sense. London Media says, it's a time jump. Lennie spoiled it last night. After he slipped up, Melissa's expression was more of a shock expression than upset, meaning yes, it was most likely a slip on Lennie. So for this to make sense, I think Morgen will leave Virginia on the finale, and the Fear group will have a huge, he's saying time jump, I'm saying huge time jump. What better way to revamp the show? Well, that's true. If you do it that way, if you're like, well, the show's not working right now, it's only getting like 2 million something views, we want to try and see if we can get it up higher, and for Fear to do more, the merch isn't selling so well, the DVDs aren't selling so well, so let's cross them over, let's have a huge time jump, let's revamp the show, and really change things around here. It's just this can get so tricky with how they do this. Personally, I like the prequel idea better. Then he says, also, it makes no sense for Morgen to travel from Georgia to Texas, then back to Georgia. You're right there. We can't really say that. We don't know if there could be motivations for him to leave, because it's a zombie apocalypse. So he's just going to sit there all day, every day, and just survive there. But Rick does say, someone called it out here that, he's been busy. AD206 said, but Morgen did have a ton of weapons. Are we to assume that all that came from the armory? Rick did say when he came in, he's been busy. And he did have a lot of stuff. I mean, he was stockpiling tons and tons of weapons, so we can probably think that he was clearing lots of stuff. I personally think it'd be sweet if they did the prequel. You have him run into Madison and the others. They're pretty twisted. They're pretty messed up. Somehow Morgen kind of breaks psychologically. We see him break down, and then he starts clearing everybody out and, just loses his freaking mind. That would be sweet to see. So that's what I'm hoping we end up seeing. The Canadian Walker, a small thought crossed my mind. Remember, I'm a walker, so I don't get many of these. I don't like to think Morgen dies in Season 8 and completely goes to Fear. Could be a 1% chance of that, maybe, just maybe. Gimple told Lennie to act sad, etc., to make us think he dies. Maybe just show up on Fear with a few episodes only. I don't know. So, again, that's a time jump idea. It's the ramifications for Fear are so drastic if you time jump everybody all the way through the zombie apocalypse. It's like we missed their whole story. If you do that, it's like Madison and the others, you're missing everyone's development through the zombie apocalypse by going from there to there, and it would just feel like such a crazy time jump. But I guess, drastic measures, that kind of thing, I guess you could. The positive note to it is if you do it that way and you do a big time jump, Morgen could be in Fear for a long time. Like if you had him leave in Season 8 and then go to Fear, he could be in Fear for years to come. Whereas if you do it this way where it's kind of like a prequel, you only have a set amount of time you can probably have him in Fear for. And I would say probably like the days can pass slowly over the episodes, but probably a couple seasons, maybe 3 seasons maximum. Granted, that is a while though, right? But that's the most you can get out of them. You can't get more out of them than just that. If you do the time skip to the future type of thing and have the timeline sync up, you could have Morgen in Fear for many years to go. So that's it's kind of tricky to see. We'll have to see what they decide to do and how this works out. Torrid said, is it possible that Morgen intercepted the Fear group even before Clear? So that's my idea. That's what I'm thinking that fits best in terms of whichever timeline you can go with. Before he goes crazy and before he goes into Clear mode, maybe after he loses Dwayne, maybe they can do something. They can recast Dwayne or something. I'm not sure. We'll have to see what they do with that because he was around there when Rick left. So it would have to be somewhere around that time, and that could be kind of cool. It's just going to be cool to see more of Morgan's story and for them to kind of expand on that, on his background a little bit if they do it that way. Gary D. Piazza says, what if Morgen doesn't go west? What if the Fear group comes east? And definitely if you're going to go the Whispers route with the Fear group, that's 100% what you would do. You would have them, for some reason, travel. Maybe they decide, let's go to Washington, D.C. to see if the government's still intact. And they go fully on into Whisper mode. But you would think that traversing that distance would be like a couple years or something. Maybe we're seeing, Lennie Morgen in a flashback part where he doesn't run into the Fear group right away. Maybe they start setting it up and do, a few episodes, and then he kind of comes in later and they kind of meet each other down the road somewhere. I don't know. We're going to have to see how this goes. James Reyna says, the interview on Talking Dead really made it seem like he is going to die. Melissa McBride, Lennie James were pretty much in tears, and we're talking like the way people usually talk when they die in the show. And then we've got Sean, and so yeah, I agree with you, James. That's true. And if he was just leaving to go to another show and his character wasn't killed off, maybe they wouldn't be as upset. You could read it that way, maybe. Oh man, this is so tricky and so hard to say. And again, all speculation. I could even be just wrong because it's hard to clean through this here, right? And find out, what's going to happen here from what's been said. Sean Stockdale says, didn't Chris on Talking Dead say that Scott Gimple said there was plenty of story left for Morgen in The Walking Dead, so he won't die in Season 8? Or did I hear wrong? No, you didn't hear wrong, Sean. He did basically say that there's plenty of story left for him, and then Lennie kind of, I don't want to say he contradicts that, but he kind of this is tough. No, okay, maybe I don't know, man. You guys know what I'm saying? Like, it's one of those where it's like, I don't know, man. It's tricky. So, well, I said earlier what I thought it would end up being, but yeah, you can watch the Talking Dead thing over, make up your mind for yourself which one makes more sense to you. You kill him off and do prequel, or you do some kind of sequel. He leaves the group and then he meets the Fear group after they do a huge time jump, and the two groups go together. I don't know, man. I really don't know. Last one will be from Unbreakable. Hey, Trev, what did you make of Lennie's comment to the fans when he said something along the lines of, it is very much our fault? Do you think this is just a general statement coming from us wanting a crossover? Or maybe more specifically, us theorizing about the whispers being tied in, so it being very much our fault. Well, I mean, you know, the fact that the show's still going, you know, that that they have everything, and about the way that Fear has gone and that kind of thing. Maybe he just kind of means like because we want to see, you know, more that everybody, you know, eventually gets killed off and this kind of thing. Maybe that's kind of what he means, or it's our fault that. Maybe, you know, they want to attract more fans to Fear, and that they feel like they are missing an opportunity if they don't use some kind of crossover between the show. So it's you know, our fault that he's got to switch or something. I don't know, you know, or that we want characters to be killed off all the time. I don't know, you know, that's really tricky, man. So I don't know what he meant. It's just, again, there's so many things in that one you can read different ways. So that'll be it as far as this one goes for today, guys, for kind of my thoughts on whether or not I think Lennie or Morgen, I keep calling Lennie, Morgen will be killed off in The Walking Dead Season 8 and will switch to Fear. Those are my thoughts. You know, write yours in the comments. Let me know where you guys are with this one. I don't think there's any right or wrong right now, you know, or that you can say logically one doesn't make sense and rule either option out entirely. Write a comment. Let me know what you guys think. Will they speed up Fear, or will they bring back flashback for Lennie James for Morgen? Let me know what you guys think. If you like this video, please thumb it up below. You can share, you can favorite. And if you're new and you want to subscribe to the channel, I would appreciate it. And you can do it. You can subscribe at the bottom left. That's it for this one. I'll see you guys again soon for another video. As always, it's Trev, and I'm saying peace. Later, guys. See you soon.